Really, the crossover is that real estate, at the end of the day, is a people business.
Hi, welcome to the Realtors Conspiracy Podcast. I'm here today with Mike Wallace from Remax Escarpment.
Hi, Maud. How are we doing?
Good. So tell us about your career. Former MP for Burlington.
That's
you
right.
went into real estate.
Right.
What's the crossover there?
So it was an interesting change. I was a member of the city council for 12 years, then a member of the federal government, the member of parliament for just shy of 10. So that's like 22 years of public service. So you meet a ton of people, but it's not a sales job like you're doing, you're selling in a sense, but not the same way. So when when the election results came through in 2015, I was looking around at what could I use my sales skills or my skills that I had developed, people skills, into an industry or a business that I was interested in. And real estate came to the top of the list, so I went right out and got took the courses. In 2016, by the spring of 2016, I had gotten my license enough to be able to start selling. And really, the crossover is that real estate, at the end of the day, is a people business. You're dealing with either on the selling side or the listing side or the selling side. You're dealing with people, their emotions, their issues that they're having, their desires that they have, all basically the same thing that when people came to see me in my political office, they had issues or things that they wanted to see for themselves, for their family. And it's basically the same sort of atmosphere in a sense. There is a sales job. I think that's what I've learned the most in this time to the changeover is that it isn't just servicing people. It is part of the job, but it is an actual sales role. And if you're not prepared to be a salesperson, it's not your career, maybe.
What about the negotiating? Because you are negotiating with Parliament and councillors.
You are negotiating all the time. And
so that was...
some people call it negotiating. I was advocating, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
All those, and those are just, in my view, how to deal with people skills and how to get to where from what you want or what whoever you're representing wants on a political side to getting a solution or a result that is hopefully satisfactory. Same thing in real estate.
Yeah.
Somebody falls in love with a house, for example, and you're representing the buyer and the sellers. It isn't always on price. It's on timing of when it's going to close, what's included in I've had discussions, we'll call them discussions, over small things like, is the lawnmower staying, those kinds of things.
So you gotta
be prepared to be able to negotiate, talk, advocate on behalf of your clients, whether they're the selling side or the listing side. And the other thing is that you can't take anything personally.
Yes.
Obviously, in politics, if you take it personally, it's very hard on your ego. It's a very tough business to be in.
Yeah.
Because people will criticize you for things that you have no control over.
Exactly.
Right? In this business, you may think one way, but your clients are thinking a different way, or you may not be able to convince them to do something or whatever. You cannot take it personally.
You did your best.
It's a job that you need to do, and it's a sales job in a sense that you need to do what you can to put your best foot forward. But at the end of the day, they're the clients, and their decision to be made.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's been very, very helpful. The other sort of frustrating thing, not really for me, but over the years I've met thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds, but literally it's probably true. It's both. I have a database of over 10,000 people.
Yeah, we're like thousands of people
right.
in Burlington, 171,000 in Burlington.
And everybody knows a realtor. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? And so often I'd be somewhere and someone said, "Oh, I listed my house with so and so, or I bought through so and so," and you can get a bit frustrated as a new realtor that, hey, how come they didn't call me? And even to give me a chance to bid on it.
To talk about,
right? But I soon realized that, look, the average new realtor maybe has a sphere of influence or people that they know, maybe a couple of hundred that they really know.
Yeah.
And that would be frustrating if in that little group that people were going elsewhere, but it does happen.
Yeah.
And you just got to grin and bear it and continue on. So for me, of the sales that I've made, and I've figured it out, it's been about 50-50. Some of it's been from people that I've had an experience with from my previous career.
Yeah.
And the other is like brand new, didn't have any dealings with them at all. I've been fairly successful at working open houses and finding new clients
Yes,
there.
yes.
That's one area that I've been good at. And if you're not gregarious and out there chatting with people, that's what an open house is. So if that's not your niche, that doesn't have to be your niche. There's other ways of doing it. But for me, open houses seem to have worked in terms of about half of my successful clients.
For a lot of people I speak to, open houses, taking open houses from other clients, from other realtors, and then getting leads there.
Yeah.
Works.
I find that a lot of realtors who've been in the business a long time,
they're
not terribly excited about spending their Sunday afternoons
Yeah.
at houses. I've only been at it since 2016. I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I used to do my political career, I had a goal of doing 5 events a weekend. So I was always out with people doing things. And
on the weekends.
And to me, an open house is, I guess, just a short little stint. Like
it's a quiet
event. And so for me, that's one of the areas that work. Obviously, my database, trying to work that a little bit.
Yeah.
To make sure that I have clients. Listen, at the end of the day, what you need to do, you need to be persistent.
Yeah.
If you're not persistent, and if you're not always, out there looking for new leads or new people to talk to and you got to remind everybody, no matter how well you know them, that you are in the real estate business.
There's
and
a
that
lot.
You're willing to help them.
Yeah.
I use the line, which is true, I shouldn't call it a line, but the approach that, look, if you have a question, whether you use me or not, let me know, and I'll see if I can get you the answer. And that's the kind of approach I take.
Sense.
And in most cases, it turns into to something that, in terms of further relationship, in terms of the real estate business.
You were door knocking in politics.
Yes.
Do you door knock as a realtor?
I have done some door knocking as a realtor. The trick for me right off the bat was that it was a fairly hard transition for people who knew me to get over the concept that I was
in real estate.
And I didn't do myself any favors by, after I got out of the federal scene, I was interested in the municipal, back to running for mayor. So I ran for mayor in the last municipal election, and so I put my real estate piece on hold, basically. I was out door knocking in that. So when you're trying to convince people that, nope, I'm now a realtor, but then you run
for municipal, and now you're running back for a realtor.
So I'm clear with people now that I'm completely done with elected office.
Yes.
And door knocking, I've done some what we call drops without actually knocking in the wintertime because it's been a cold winter. So this spring and summer, I'm planning on going back out and door knocking and just saying hello. It's really, saying hello that I'm out, making sure people know that the transition is more permanent this time.
Yes. What does your typical day look like?
Well, I like to get up in the morning. Relatively, I'm not a really early morning person. I'd rather work at night, to be perfectly honest with you. So I've read 2 papers and drank my coffee and got showered and everything ready for work by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
So I'm not like I don't get up at 5 and so on. I sometimes go for a run in the morning. I actually like to run at lunchtime. But I do a little exercise, normally a run, not every day of the week, but maybe 3-4 days a week. And then I get on the system, to be honest with you. That's what I use most of my mornings for. A lot of basically, there are 2 types of clients. One's you've got their listing, and the other one you've got buyers. And for my buying clients, I'm looking to see what has been new listings that come on and so on and so forth, and see what the market is. Sending out emails to those people. So I do a lot of what I would call office work in the morning. Right?
Yeah.
The afternoon, I leave to either do I try to do as much as I can of the. There's open houses basically Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in town, and I do have some clients looking in other places, like in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And I go to
so the
Realtors,
agents open houses. Yeah.
just to know what's available, see what the pricing is, see because that also helps my listing clients knowing what's their competition is and where it is, and what the price points are, and how they're. The layout of the house, how it looks, and what we can do to improve on that. So the mornings are mostly, I would say, office kind of work, both for my buyers and my sellers. Then the afternoons is really kind of more of a prospecting time. Yeah. I look for I look for opportunities to be out there. One of my advantages is that I'm fairly well connected in the community, that I'm at a lot of events, and I meet a lot of people at events, and I go to as much as I can.
Yes.
Still, whether it's a chamber event or whatever it is, community events. Yeah. So that and I talk. Everywhere I'm going, it's talking real estate.
Yeah.
So everybody's interested in a couple of things. Weather and real estate seem to be the two big ones. So. And then evenings, depends on the evening, but a lot of time that's when my clients are available to go see houses.
So that's when
I do that. So the afternoons I do some prospecting, looking at the competition that's out there, what's on the market, and in the evenings with those who are either looking to buy, they're out looking house, and for those who are looking to list, that's when I normally see them in the evenings.
Yeah. So it keeps you busy.
Yeah.
Keeps you out of
and my client base is not all new buyers, not all senior citizens that are looking to downsize. It seems to be a nice variety.
Range.
Yeah.
So. What's the one thing that made you successful as a realtor? The one thing you're like, if I didn't do that, I would have not.
Yeah, there are a couple things, but I think mostly it's been that my attitude.
Okay.
That I'm positive all the time.
Yes.
I think in this business, probably like in any sales job, you get a lot of no. You get, in my case, there's a lot of people doing stuff without you. You can get frustrated and say, well, I'm not, and there's nobody looking over your shoulder. It's your own business.
Yeah.
So if you don't show up for work that day, if you don't get out of bed, or if you don't do your thing, no one's telling you can't do it. So you need to be persistent, and I think that's sort of where my attitude is. Like I'm pretty good at writing a list of things I need to accomplish, and very persistent at making that stuff happen. And I think that has helped me be successful. The other thing that I don't cut any corners on doing the detailed work.
Okay.
I find that people who've been in the business a long time sometimes
cut corners.
Yes. You'll go to a listing, always one not that long ago, just a few weeks ago. The listing says the house has 2 bathrooms, and actually there's 3.
Ah, no.
Right? Yeah. So if you're searching for a place with 3 bathrooms, that place will never show up.
Wow.
And it would that's the kind of thing I don't want to happen to my clients.
Yes. That's
terrible.
So
being consistent, persistent, and detail-oriented, I think has helped me be successful in the first 3 years that I've been at this.
Very cool. And what are you excited about in the future with real estate?
Well, the thing with Burlington is that it's always going to be a turnover here.
Yeah.
And there isn't a lot of new build happening here, so it is because the community is built out. So the role of a realtor in a area where it is a resale market, I think, is significant. Where in other markets where there's lots of green field being developed, and that's a real estate job, but it's a different job, right? Yeah. And a lot of buyers will go to new build. That isn't available really here, other than some condo build here, but in terms of apartment or high-rise kind of thing, there's a little bit of that. But so I think the market here in Burlington is always going to be strong. I think there's a tremendous amount of competition, and I'll be frank, there are lots of good agents in this marketplace. But I'd like to be one of them, and just being persistent. I think the future's pretty good for real estate here in Burlington, not just for realtors, but for those who are, if you can get in the market here, it is very solid, and I think it will continue on. I don't think you'll see the fluctuations that other communities may have, and just because of where we are located, the mass transit availability, and I think it's going to improve over when they electrify the GO train and everything. So things are moving forward. I don't see. We're not a one industry town. It's not like a car plant is closing down here.
And then everything shuts down.
Yeah. So we are in a very, very good spot. And if you want to look outside of our specific Burlington marketplace, there's no reason why we can't be successful selling Hamilton, Cambridge area, that kind of thing, where if clients need to
Stony Creek,
move further away. I think Niagara is going to take off.
Yes.
Especially if the GO train and so on starts. There's more activity in terms of mass transit down there, and it will be really impressive. I think St. Catharines downtown has revitalized, and
already,
so I think there's just opportunity throughout the area here.
Yeah, very good. So, word of advice for a brand new realtor, you're saying persistent, positive.
Be positive, right? And don't take things personally.
Yes.
So when a new, I've been at a number of training courses. I work for Remax Escarpment, and they do a pretty good job of, they do an excellent job of training. And so you're in there with a lot of new people in their training program. And you would hear stories about, my sister or my cousin, my best friend, they're not buying from me or they're not listing with me. And so I could see how you could get very frustrated with that. So my advice to them is take it with a grain of salt.
Yes.
There are thousands of more people out there.
Yeah.
You got to find the ones that will work with you, and just be, congratulate them that they're in the real estate business, that they're active, because who knows if they don't deal with you now, maybe 2 years, 3 years, or they might recommend their friend, their relative to you, because maybe their experience with whoever they do to work with won't be as positive as
maybe that agent will put 2 bathrooms instead of 3.
Who knows? So you have to keep a positive attitude, and you have to remember that this isn't TV. This is a real sales job.
Yes, those shows.
And if you don't have the ability to cold call and understand that this is a sales process that you're dealing with your clients and with their property, whether it's buying or selling, it'll be a frustrating business for you to be in.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Where do we find you? Website?
Yeah, so I'm very easy to find. My email, for example, is mike@mikewallace.ca. So it's just my name. Same with my website, www.mikewallace.ca.
Awesome.
And so everything is there. And then, if you want to follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, it's Mike Wallace Realtor.
There you go.
My line that I use.
Where we can see your awesome granddaughter.
Yeah, I do a little family stuff.
Which is good. That's good. Yeah.
You need a mix, but she does some funny things, so it's nice to put them up.
It's fun for everybody. We like it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our episode.
Okay.
Thank you.